Today's podcast, I am a tad bit annoyed, okay? Every single time I open up X, I see not only just liberals crapping on PierrePoilievre, but conservatives too, and we need to talk about it. Welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. This is where we debrief and discuss pop culture and politics from an independent perspective. And if that interests you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share this with your friends because it's hard to get my voice out in commie Canada, and let's get into it, okay? Okay. Yeah, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed because number one, okay, and I'm just going to say this as a disclaimer. This is coming from somebody who is still among the poor. I have not made a ton of money. I've started making a little bit of money online. I've not made a ton, not enough to sustain me, not enough to help us out with groceries every single week. 1 week we are helped out by my paycheck from here. But other than that, I am genuinely living in the pits of hell with you guys right now. Okay? So it's kind of hard for me to understand these content creators who make a ton of money and like have just completely crapped on PierrePoilievre as a leader, a controlled opposition. Now, I'm just going to say this, okay? This controlled opposition talk is coming a lot from people who don't even live here anymore. And I want to just say, if you have left Canada, if you are rich enough to be able to leave this place and you sit here on X every single day crapping on our only chance that maybe we could get out of this hellhole, I am falling very short of respect for people like that, okay? And I have a lot of respect for a lot of creators, okay? Even when I don't agree with like the clickbait and stuff, I genuinely understand what this business is about, and I understand why people do it, despite me being annoyed 100 times last year that Trudeau's quitting, Trudeau is fired, Trudeau is done, despite him only being done this year, okay? Or people literally clickbaiting war. I cannot stand it. I genuinely can't. I try to not do it as best as I can, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The only times my videos get viewed is if I have good clickable videos. Okay, I'm sorry, but unless PierrePoilievre comes out, because the whole thing is that he's not talking enough about the BC ostrich situation. Listen, I listened to 4 very long podcasts about this. Okay. Those people do not seem honest to me. Now, they could be very lovely people, but when Trish Woods was interviewing them in the second time, she was clarifying things and they wouldn't clarify it, and I did not trust them after that. Okay? Second of all, PierrePoilievre is only one person. Okay? He has had Andrew Scheer make a video about this, and a couple of other conservatives speak about not only talk about it, but speak about it in the House of Commons, make a video about it, okay? And not only that, the avian flu and this whole scenario is such a weird situation. Do I think that they should be culling those birds without testing them one more time? No, I don't. And do I think that if they are being abused, they should be rehomed and not unalived? Yeah, I do not think that they deserve to be unalived, okay? But I will say PierrePoilievre has been standing up for farmers. In fact, it's one of the main things that he has talked about the entire time that I have been watching him, okay? So the fact that he stands up there and stands up for farmers way more than the liberals, which, by the way, MarkCarney is the only person who can change this scenario, because if the opposition interferes during a court case, it can affect their court case, okay? So the only person that could do this is MarkCarney. I digress. Someone said because he's not speaking out about this enough, because he has spoken out about it, first of all, I would love to live in this land where you are not affected by the economy or the crime that much, that you can focus on these damn birds that much. I do not mean to be rude, because I understand the concept and what goes behind this, okay? We cannot let them just come in and do stuff like this, because then it leads to things like the Panini Press and all of the measures that they took there, okay? But they've been doing this about so many things, and for some reason, the conservatives have not paid attention. You guys know that they've gotten rid of natural health products, and the conservatives are the only ones standing on natural health products and vitamins and all of these different things to make sure that we can still have those and that businesses that sell those can still run in Canada. Unless PierrePoilievre comes out and says, I'm pro digital ID, I'm pro having rampant crime, I'm pro spending a ton of money and embezzling our money, okay? Unless PierrePoilievre comes out, in favor of digital ID, just in favor of mass, you know what? And that was my biggest qualm with him, okay, was that he wasn't talking about new Canadians, if you know what I mean, enough. But now he is. Now he is. He's been listening, and he's actually taking our criticisms and applying it. And I just don't understand why the first thing that the right would ever do is try to cancel him. What world do we live in? And what kind of privilege do you guys have that you think we could sit through another conservative leadership race right now? Like I said, I'm in the depths of hell with you guys. We don't even have time for the Liberals to lose the last election, okay? And by the way, if you have moved to America and you are spending your days, and I don't mean any offense to this person because I'm sure you guys know who I am talking about, but if you're not focused on the incredibly sketchy crap that Donald Trump is doing over in America right now, and you guys can pretend that he's not working with you can pretend that he's not working with Bill Gates. You can pretend that he's not working with Palantir. You can pretend he's not working with Peter Thiel, Jared Kushner, and Larry Ellison, who are people that if they were working with the left, you wouldn't like that. Okay? And we didn't like that. So if you're in America and you're on this kick of Pierre is globalist, Pierre's controlled opposition, blah, blah, blah. Pierre hasn't had a chance. Okay? Pierre hasn't had a chance. Neither have we. Okay? We are drowning. There is more and more crime every day. The conservatives are the only people actually talking about the real issues. And they have talked about the bird issue. I genuinely, and here's the thing too, I understand I am not a homer for Pierre. I'm not. You know how much it took for me to actually endorse him? A lot. Okay? My whole thing in the beginning was not even talking about how I'm conservative. It was more along the lines of how I'm never voting NDP and Liberal again in my life. So I didn't even fully endorse Pierre in the beginning because I wanted to see the option. And what the options were, my favorites, Melissa Lantsman, Dr. Leslyn Lewis, and PierrePoilievre. You know why we lost the last two elections, or last three elections? I would say the first two elections, 2019 and 2021. Because we didn't have a real opposition. Pierre seems to be the only one that is against digital ID, that is against all of these, globalist agenda things. And I do not know how a group of people who hates cancel culture, who hates all of these things, you can also tweet PierrePoilievre. You can tweet PierrePoilievre, you can email him, you can email your MP. Going on Twitter and acting like a fool like you have some weird vendetta against Pierre, and then some people do that because on X people love that, and then they come on YouTube and use Pierre's name in a positive light to clickbait. I can't handle it. Okay, that's I had to come on here and say, guys, what are you doing? What are we doing here? Genuinely, what are we doing here? Why now? After PierrePoilievre already went through this silly little candidate race, I think, are these things for views? Are these things for clicks? Is this funny to you guys? Do you think, I'm glad you guys are in such a great financial spot that you guys could afford to wait for another leadership race to happen because you don't like PierrePoilievre that much because of the birds? I don't know what to say anymore. And don't get me wrong, I don't disagree with every single thing Trump is doing, but he is working with shady globalists. There's no denying that, okay? A guy named Larry, a guy named Peter, okay? Bill Gates, okay? All of these people Not great. And I see people, the same people who are crapping on PierrePoilievre for being a globalist, for being controlled op, say absolutely nothing but praising and kissing Trump's butt. And I'm so over it, okay? I'm also over logging into X and seeing somebody absolutely crap on PierrePoilievre, absolutely crap on him, and then log into YouTube and see them using PierrePoilievre in a positive light against the liberals as clickbait. That drives me insane, guys. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Okay, because here's the thing. Like I said, I'm living in the pits of hell with you guys. I don't have time to sit around for another leadership election. We need another real election. Okay, and if PierrePoilievre is controlled op, what is Trump, number one? Number two, how do we get out of this? If he is controlled op, what do we do? I'm sorry, do we just vote the liberals in again? Because that's what this seems like. Genuine. Sometimes I log in and I think that I'm looking at liberal tweets. And you guys have seen me. I've criticized Pierre. Okay? It doesn't look like cancel culture because I thought we were better than that. I genuinely did. And by the way, if you think, oh, Jamie's just saying these things because she wants to get views and wants to start beef, I would rather not have beef. I would rather not have beef with the people that I could connect with and go farther with, okay? I would really rather not. I would really rather be able to just get on this internet and get me what I need, which is if I came on here and was staunchly pro-Trump, do you guys know how many more views I would have? Do you guys know if I put the most ridiculous clickbait, and I don't judge people for doing that because it's very hard to get your name out here in Canada, okay? But when you're logging in and you have a giant platform and you're using it to scare the crap out of Canadians and offering absolutely no solutions, okay, it reminds me a lot of the PPC. When I looked into, because I wasn't always voting for Pierre, okay, I'm not a Pierre homer, I'm not at all, okay? When he came to the Freedom Convoy, when he stood up for us, that meant a lot to me. That meant a lot to somebody who was actually injured. Him and Dr. Leslie Lewis seemed to be the only people who were actually giving us a voice, those of us who were injured by this thing and just wanted somebody in the government to see us for what happened to us and what we deserved, which was bodily autonomy. PierrePoilievre and the Conservatives are the only ones watching out for Canadians when it comes to crime, trying to push bills through that would protect us. The only one worried about the economy, the only ones not embezzling our fucking money. Okay, they're the only ones, like, until PierrePoilievre comes out and says, I'm a globalist, I believe in digital ID all of a sudden. I don't know how this one scenario with these ostriches, after he's actually talked about it and had other MPs look into it and talk about it as well, why this would be the hill to die on when it comes to Conservatives and voting for PierrePoilievre. I need to know, because it's really annoying me that for some reason, instead of providing constructive criticism, I log in and see a bunch of babies throwing a temper tantrum about PierrePoilievre. I'm sorry. I literally just can't help but think to myself, and no offense if this is you guys, I don't know if you're doing this for clickbait. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And these are some of the same people who I've seen going so hard for Pierre for 3 whole years. And by the way, I'm not talking about Pleb at all. Pleb is a sweetheart, and Pleb has shouted me out, and I genuinely am so thankful for Pleb, okay? I just wanted to make that clear that I am not talking about you, Pleb. He honestly reminds me of my husband in the way that he was a blue-collar worker, so I just have a special place in my heart for the Pleb, okay? I just wanted to say that because I didn't want people to think I was talking about him, because he used to go pretty hard for PierrePoilievre and make me chuckle, but anyways, I wasn't talking about him at all. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about, and I don't mean to be rude at all. I'm just like, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Okay? Because if you want, I can link my video where I gave him constructive criticism of what I thought he was doing incorrectly. But to hop on the bandwagon of hating Pierre just because he didn't talk enough about the ostrich farm is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I don't know. I genuinely, it's like during the election when people would say, he's not talking about this. He's not talking about this. Are you listening to his conferences? Are you listening to his whole speech? Are you watching him in the House of Commons? Are you watching his, are you following everybody in the party who are also making videos about these things? He's only one guy and he has a team for a reason. Anyways, I don't know if I finished my thought about PPC, but I thought that they were working with the Liberals to take down the Conservatives. So, and no offense if you're a PPC voter and watch my videos, I very much appreciate you. And you're obviously not those people who were PPC in my comments, you know, calling me the R word. And, you know, honestly, sometimes I couldn't tell the difference between PPC voters and Liberal voters, okay? We need to not stoop to the level of the left, okay? We're smarter than this. We can provide constructive criticism. And look at the left. You guys wonder why the left has been, you know, in power for so long? And I'm not saying that this is a good thing, because it's not, but it's because they go hard for their leaders, okay? I am not saying it's a good thing, but they are way more loyal. Look at they called everybody who rightly criticized Jagmeet Singh a racist. Jagmeet Singh, I was on the left. Jagmeet Singh was doing an objectively horrible job and teamed up with the Liberals. And I did not vote NDP to vote for the Liberals, although I didn't vote in 2021, but I digress. You get the point. So I want to know what you guys think. I also want to know what's going on. Why are so many people just jumping on this bandwagon of hating Pierre? I'm literally trying to look up any logical excuse as to why this whole BC ostrich thing is this big of a deal over the crime that they're helping with. They're trying to put through bills. Like, I understand the bigger picture. I do, okay? Because it does, things like this can lead to the panini press, but also these types of things can protect us. I know we don't want to think about that, but sometimes it does protect us. Now, I don't know if that's the case, okay? And I will say, you know, all the things I said about the birds, whatever. I can't tell, okay? Like I said, I was honest with you guys. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend, okay? I also want to know, if you're an anarchist, if you think PierrePoilievre is controlled opposition, obviously the Liberals are horrible too. Like, where do we go from here? I would love to sit down and have a conversation with somebody, because I used to be one too. I used to be like a globalist, a freak, okay? Absolute freak, until I realized the ramifications. Oh, if you invite anybody over here and then don't build infrastructure, things quite literally fall apart. And that's just the beginning. So I want to know if you guys are those people. And I understand, okay, in Canada, I think that we're less politically, we're more politically divided now. But we did live in a time during Harper. I don't remember anybody talking about politics and fighting about it. Never once. So I just want to get back to a time where my money actually goes way farther than it does now. Okay. So you guys let me know in the comments. Do you guys think PierrePoilievre should continue to be the leader? If not, who? If you think Pierre's just controlled op, okay, where do we go from here then? What's your game plan? Because I need to know. And if you think that PierrePoilievre is controlled op, but DT isn't, let me know about that as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!